Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Jonah Summers.
And I'm Colin Winder. Here are the most recent updates from this newest chapter in the Israel and Palestine conflict.
Also, learn how a local gas company has affected the daily lives of thousands of Pittsburghers.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
Heroes are people who put others before themselves in times of crisis. Awad Darash is one of those heroes. Following the attacks by Hamas in Israel earlier this month, many fled to safety to protect themselves or their families. But this hero, he stayed. Darash was a 23-year-old paramedic who was working the music festival that was attacked by Hamas forces. But instead of fleeing the scene, Darash stayed to aid those who had been injured. Upon the attack, the paramedics' tent was flooded with injured people, and few were there to help. The festival's attack resulted in 260 Israeli deaths. Awad was one of them. When bandaging an injured festival goer, the 23-year-old paramedic was shot to death. Darash's family spoke out, commending Awad's bravery and sacrifice to aid others. His cousin spoke out saying, quote, "He brought us a lot of pain, he brought us a lot of agony, and he brought us a lot of sorrow, but he also brought us a lot of pride, because he chose to stay until his mission with the last moment," end quote. Darash will be remembered for his sacrifices made to protect those in his homeland.
The war between Palestine and Israel is still ongoing, with around 4,200 deaths between both sides. The war was initiated after the Palestinian group Hamas devastated the southern and central towns in Israel by sending 5,000 rockets in total, killing thousands of Israeli citizens in a surprise attack. In return, Israel militants retaliated by ordering the evacuation of Palestinian Gaza Strip, with nearly 2.3 million citizens frantically fleeing the area. However, during the evacuation, Israel issued relentless airstrikes along the strip, as well as blocking resources. Homes were destroyed, millions were displaced, and Palestinians are now suffering a humanitarian crisis as fuel, water, and food have become scarce. In a statement from Hamas, they urged Gaza citizens to stay put instead of evacuating, claiming that the evacuation is a product of psychological warfare. This story is currently developing. The ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine is still raging on with the most recent attack. Reporter Leslie Krebs has the story.
On October 10th, Russia began one of its biggest attacks on Avdiivka, the eastern Ukrainian city that has already faced countless attacks since the beginning of the war. Officials say Russia believes they can make a victory from the city and gain an advantage against Ukraine. Vitaly Barabash, head of the local military administration, stated, quote, 24 missiles hit the area Wednesday. There are dead, wounded people under the rubble, end quote. Russians are making little headway, though, and taking on large casualties, slowing their efforts. This was all announced after Ukraine received the long-range ballistic missiles and other military equipment from the U.S. that Biden had promised to send. Ukraine is slowly but surely proving successful in its efforts to defend against Russia's advances after destroying 9 of its helicopters and 2 airfields, among other successful attacks on personnel. Though Russia is still relentless in their attempts to take over, the UK Defense Ministry stated, quote, Russia's effort to overrun Avdiivka looks increasingly unlikely in the short term, end quote.
The El Niño climate phenomenon is a natural climate shift where water temperatures in a large area of the equator rise to levels above normal. As a result, many nations have been impacted by different climate issues and natural disasters. Brazil's Amazon rainforest is dealing with a particularly difficult drought as a result. Reporter Juliana Brock has more details on this story. Juliana?
Rivers of the Amazon rainforest have fallen to their lowest levels due to a record drought. This drought has brought chaos to thousands of people and the jungle ecosystem of the Amazon rainforest. According to CNN, the port of Manaus, the region's most popular city, has recorded 44.6 feet of water on Monday. This is the lowest record set since 2010. Due to the drought, boats have been left stranded and those living in remote areas have had restricted food and water supplies. According to CNN, along with affecting the people, this drought has also killed more than 100 endangered river dolphins. Medine, the Brazilian Government Disaster Alert Center, stated that some areas have seen the least amounts of rain from July to September since 1980. Brazil's science ministry believes the cause of the drought is the El Niño climate phenomenon, which, according to CNN, is, quote, driving extreme weather patterns globally, end quote. A statement released by the ministry states they believe the drought will last until at least December, which is when El Niño's impact is expected to peak. This drought has affected approximately 481,000 people, as those isolated are struggling to receive supplies and remain healthy as the water has become contaminated. In the meantime, people are trying to distribute supplies in any way possible, whether it's by canoe, tractors, or by foot.
On Monday, October 16th, 2 Swedish nationals were shot dead in central Brussels while on their way to a soccer match. The shooting was done by a single armed man. A video on social media showed the shooter in a white helmet and bright orange visibility vest. The shooting caused the soccer match between Sweden and Belgium to be postponed, but fans were held in the stadium for almost 5 hours after the shooting, before slowly being escorted out by police. The identity of the shooter has yet to be released, but authorities were looking for a 45-year-old Brussels resident. Coming up, a new alert system introduced in California. Hear about its intended purpose. Plus, hear about a natural phenomenon that multiple U.S. states got a chance to witness this past week.
So there's an ongoing investigation in Florida right now concerning the theft of $1.6 million of alcohol. The product was lost to the Republic National Distributing Company, otherwise known as the RNDC, and no suspect has yet been identified. According to ABC, located in Gibsonton, Florida, RNDC is one of the nation's largest wine and spirits distributors with 14,000 employees in 38 states and Washington, D.C. According to the company's website, the heist began on July 8th when the thieves stole 4,277 cases of liquor. Authorities have a search warrant for an iPhone 14 Pro Max that allegedly holds information regarding the heist and its details, as well as the identity of the thieves. The heist consisted of top brands like Jose Cuervo Tequila and top mass-distributed wine brands. The thieves took the cameras used for surveillance and disabled them upon the beginning of the heist, which is why details are so scattered. Because of this, authorities are caught in a loop. Answers are hard to come by and the story is still developing, but what we do know is that the thieves used a tractor trailer to get the alcohol out. How they managed to get a tractor trailer in and out is still under question. However, a loss of $1.6 million in product could be detrimental to a company of this magnitude in the state of Florida.
California Governor Gavin Newsom recently signed a bill for the creation of Ebony Alert, an alert system that gives attention to missing cases of Black women and children aged 12 to 25. The bill was presented by Senator Stephen Bradford, who expressed that responses from law enforcement to Black missing persons alerts are due to many being deemed runaways that aren't reported by the Amber Alert system. This isn't the only Amber Alert California implemented in recent years. California also target alerts such as Blue Alert that describes suspects in police killings, Yellow Alert which describes hit-and-run suspects, Silver Alert that covers missing persons over the age of 65, and Feather Alert which covers missing Indigenous people. Former police officer and co-founder of Black and Missing Foundation, Derica Wilson, encourages that, quote, dedicating an alert system for missing Black people could encourage law enforcement to devote more attention to their cases, end quote. The alert system will now go into effect January 2024. Negotiations suspended, actors strike at a standstill. Reporter Aaron Newt is here to provide an update on the SAG-AFTRA strike negotiations.
The ongoing actors-writers strike is once again at a standstill. Last Wednesday, the major Entertainment Studios Alliance of motion picture and television producers said that they were suspending negotiations with representatives of the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, because they were, quote, no longer moving in a productive direction, end quote. The actors, who have been on strike since July 14th, accused studio executives of bullying tactics and said they were presented with an agreement that was less than they were offered before the strike began. The news comes after more than 8,000 screenwriters accepted a new 3-year contract last Monday with the Studio Alliance, formally ending their months-long labor dispute. With actors still on strike, most television and movie productions remain suspended. The California economy has lost an estimated $5 billion since the strike began. Actors now have been on strike for 97 days, and the screenwriters were on strike for 184 days. The last time both unions were on strike was 1960. The Studio Alliance and Actors Union have now had 5 bargaining sessions, and it is unclear when another session will be held.
So last Friday, NASA launched a rocket into a 6-year expedition towards a unique asteroid. The spacecraft is called Psyche and is projected to make it to the metal-covered asteroid of the same name by 2029. This exploration offers a chance for NASA scientists to learn a little bit more about this kind of metal in the solar system, which is something that has yet to be explored. Scientists believe the metal-coated asteroid may be the remains of an ancient planet's core, and exploring the asteroid will hopefully offer some insight into the makeup of the Earth's similar metal core. The spacecraft was launched on Friday, October 13th from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 10:13 a.m. and will continue its journey across 2.2 billion miles for the next 6 years. An attempted carjacking turned deadly at a Philadelphia airport. Reporter Leslie Krebs has the details.
On October 16th, an arrest was made in regards to the attempted car theft and shooting that took place last week inside the Philadelphia International Airport parking garage. Yobrani Martinez Fernandez was taken into custody Monday morning on murder charges, while 2 other accomplices were still on the loose. Police believe another was shot during the struggle, who was later dropped off at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. That's where Jesus Herman Madeira Duran later died as a result of his injuries. The officers on duty who responded to the scene were Richard Mendez and Raul Ortiz. Mendez was shot 4 times in the torso and pronounced dead on the scene, while Ortiz was shot in the arm and later discharged from the hospital a few days later. Police believe shots were fired from behind after Mendez and Ortiz tried to apprehend one of the individuals. Many key details from the incident are missing, such as the person responsible for firing the gun and just exactly how many were involved. Police have posted a reward upwards of $237,400 for information leading to the arrest of those involved.
Many states in the U.S. got the chance this past Sunday to see a unique eclipse. The Ring of Fire eclipse was visible from Oregon to Texas over the course of the night. A Ring of Fire eclipse occurs during a regular eclipse when the moon is farthest from the Earth in its orbit. The moon cannot completely cover the sun at this distance, causing the sun to create a, quote, ring of fire around the dark moon. The eclipse was about 120 feet high and traveled at speeds of 1,700 to 7,000 miles per hour. People who missed this eclipse will have the chance to see another on April 8th of 2024 when a total eclipse is set to take place. When we return from the break, we'll have your local Pittsburgh news. Stay tuned to hear about a local football legend facing fines, plus a local high school elects to change its mascot Find out what it was and when the change will take place. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back.
Welcome back
to
Daybreak.
Chicken Guy opened in PPG Place on Monday.
The bridge would open before the 1 year marks to check out the 20th annual gingerbread display.
Share with you this week's ray of sunshine.
We are still somehow hanging around in the playoff.
It gives Georgia Democrats some hold onto the governing body.
200,000 people still in harm's way.
This weather is perfect for those cozy nights indoors.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had a very slow start to the season, according to Pittsburghers. TJ Watt, however, he's really in a league of his own. The defensive end from the University of Wisconsin has been the key factor to the Steelers' minimal success. But last week, in a divisional bout against the Baltimore Ravens, Watt was hit with over $25,000 in fines. The fines were based on Watt removing his helmet after making a game-winning sack on Baltimore Ravens star quarterback Lamar Jackson, which resulted in a $14,000 fine. The other fine was on a play where Ravens receiver Zay Flowers made a catch and made contact with Flowers' helmet first, which costed Watt $11,000. This is not the first time that the rivalry has sparked a fine for the former defensive MVP. In 2021, Watt was fined for taunting. The fines for Watt have come with no suspension, meaning that after the bye week this past week, the Steelers will have their most valuable asset to their powerful defense as they take on the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday at 4 p.m.
Nearly 4,000 customers of Columbia Gas have temporarily lost their natural gas services for potentially several days. Customers residing in Beaver County, specifically in Economy, Borough, Freedom, Baden, and Conway areas have had their gas shut off as safety precaution. Columbia Gas released a statement that, quote, as a safety precaution after technicians identified an issue with natural gas introduced into the system by a third-party upstream gas supplier, end quote. The next steps, according to the company, will include technicians turning off all gas meters to those affected. Afterwards, the crew will regenerate the flow of gas into the system and begin performing door-to-door checks. After recruiting over 60,000 employees last year, a prominent Pittsburgh bank is making cuts that could affect the jobs of many. Reporter Aaron Ute has more.
Last Tuesday, PNC Bank said it would cut an undisclosed number of workers. In a statement, the bank said it's reviewing its organizational structure and, quote, includes a shift away from work not fully aligned to our strategic priorities and will result in a reduction of staffing levels in certain areas, end quote. In PNC's second quarter earnings call, the company said it is reaching for an overall target of $50 million in savings. PNC said it is also looking at other cost-cutting initiatives in order to invest in newer markets. As of last December, PNC employed 61,500 employees, which included 59,900 full-time and 1,600 part-time positions. About 12,000 employees work in the Pittsburgh region. PNC is currently the sixth largest bank in the U.S. with assets of an estimated $554.1 billion. The company's rating agency told Trib Total Media that higher interest rates have negatively impacted PNC's balance sheet and that the company expects a mild recession in early 2024. It is unclear whether these undisclosed number of layoffs will occur.
Pittsburgh Bureau of Police have gained a few new faces to take on the role of commanders and sergeants. Last week, a swearing-in ceremony was held in the city's council chambers. Lieutenants Jeffrey Abraham and Anthony Palermo, Lori McCartney, Wanda Duncan, and Sergeant Bryant Schmidt were sworn in as commanders. Emily Myers, Josh Hopter, and Aaron Palchak were sworn in as sergeants. According to a city press release, Police Chief Larry Scarito said that he was, quote, honored to recognize and promote some of the very best and brightest the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police has to offer, end quote. Mayor Ed Gainey said that the new commanders and sergeants have, quote, reached heights in their careers that not every police officer achieves, end quote. Our Carnegie Mellon University police officer is facing a misdemeanor charges. Reporter Juliana Brock is here with the details of the story. Juliana?
A Carnegie Mellon University police officer is being charged with theft after she was caught switching tags on items at Walmart to pay a lower price. 32-year-old Ashley Dawn Polka was caught taking an item that cost 99 cents and using its tag on other items, including a pack of mason jars. Fraser police told KDKA that Walmart loss prevention called after they caught Polka on video footage from the parking lot and registers. These videos helped link together incidents taking place between April and September. Polka stole 11 items during that time, totaling the price of everything to be around $190. According to KDKA, Polka was arrested on September 11th of this year, but is now free on bond, facing one count of misdemeanor retail theft. Carnegie Mellon University released a statement saying, quote, the university does not comment on personal matters, but can confirm that Ashley Polka has been on extended leave from the department, end quote.
Unlike other schools in the area, Point Park University has very few extended breaks throughout the semester. Reporter Hannah Bazet talked to the Point Park community to get their opinions on whether the lack of mid-semester breaks is worth getting out of school a month early.
Fall now in full swing, many college students are looking forward to some much-deserved time off. However, for Point Park students, there is no break coming.
Fall break would be a really nice time to just kind of chill in the middle of like midterms and all that stuff. And that's typically when students start to get burnt out.
While students at schools in the Pittsburgh area such as Chatham, Duquesne, and the University of Pittsburgh were lounging around relaxing, Point Park students were preparing for and taking their midterms. And with no fall break in the near future, students are beginning to experience feelings of burnout and stress.
I think everyone experiences burnout at some point, but I do think that having a break would alleviate it to some extent.
Point Park's solution for no fall break is the Pioneer Pause, which was introduced last year and is a one-day mental health break. This year it falls on Tuesday, October 31st, otherwise known as Halloween. But is that one day off enough? I spoke to some students who told me they would rather have a break when they need one as opposed to just having to grind straight through until Thanksgiving, while others told me they enjoy getting out early for the summer.
Obviously, it's not fun to wait until the end of November in order to get a break, but at the same time, with the way that the school has it laid out, it means we get out earlier. And so I kind of do prefer getting to get out earlier than most schools do.
I'd rather have a break like a week off in the middle of the semester, a few days off in the middle of the semester than start a week later in August.
For now, it seems there will be no fall breaks in the coming year, as Point Park already has their 2024 to 2025 academic calendar available online. For NewsNight, I'm Hannah Bazet.
Even with next year's academic calendar already announced, you can still voice your opinion on the matter for future years by contacting the President's Office or the Student Government Association.
North Hills School District is set for a massive change. Over 1,300 students a year since 1959 have called for their school the North Hills Indians. However, they will no longer be under that name. At the beginning of October, the school board voted to discontinue the name, with many parents and faculty in the school district being upset. The district elected a work with a graphic designer to create a new logo by July 1st, 2024. Some supporting district citizens took to social media saying, "Seems like a reasonable thing to address and would be a welcome change. This doesn't erase the past and would set a good example for future and current students to learn from." Some others still exclaimed their frustration. The board elected that they will be changing the mascot and the logo will be ready by next year. Coming up after the break, we'll have your local Pittsburgh weather update. Plus, stay tuned to hear about what little dog broke a big record. We'll be right back.
Regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. The benefits of physical activity include brain health, weight management, reducing disease, strengthening your bones and muscles, and improving your ability to do everyday activities. So, it's time to get up and be active.
The world record for most puppies born in one litter might have been broken. Winnie, a 3-year-old dachshund, otherwise known as a wiener dog, gave birth to a litter of 11 puppies, which is a record for the species. The puppies were born near Leicester, England in September. Due to the dachshund's short stature, they usually give birth to between 1 and 6 babies per litter. Winnie's owner, Rayma Jones, thinks that she has beaten the world record, but the Guinness Book of World Records does not keep track of records for individual dog breeds. Jones said, quote, "I was amazed by the litter. I just kept counting them over and over. She's such a great mom. I'm overwhelmed that she could have a world record number of puppies. I looked online and I couldn't believe it," end quote. Will Pittsburgh be seeing the effects of a storm that hit Japan? Weather reporter Cade Montgomery is here to let you know and give you your local weather update. Cade?
Thanks, Jonah. Tomorrow's weather seems to be a mix of it all, with a combination of clouds and sunny skies throughout the day. Light showers are expected in the late afternoon with a 55% chance of precipitation. The temperature is anticipated to reach the low 70s, but don't expect a warm fall day just yet, as wind gusts will reach up to 18 miles per hour, making it a very breezy day in Pittsburgh. Overnight, the temperature is expected to drop into the low 50s and rain is on the radar. Expect dense cloud coverage and a high probability of rain. Now let's move on to the rest of the week. This weekend will be a wet one as Pittsburgh begins to see the effects of Super Typhoon Bolivan. This typhoon that began over the coast of Japan has made its way to the United States, and the East Coast is expected to see heavy rain and thunderstorms from it. Here in Pittsburgh, however, the forecast calls for consistent showers and cooler temperatures, ranging from the low 50s to low 60s throughout the weekend. We will finally be seeing a break from the rain at the beginning of next week. Starting Monday, there will be considerable sunshine and temperatures will range from the mid-50s to mid-60s. That's all I have for you this week. Now let's head back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of NewsNight. If you want to check out more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel for our website, uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Collyanne Winder.
And I'm Jonah Summers. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.